Look at this food label, for example. We have two columns. We have a per 100 gram column and we have a per serving column. Every single product that's packaged will have a 100 gram column. That makes sense then to use that as your primary comparison between products. Straight away, if we're comparing products on the per serve, we're going to be confused because the serving size in grams differs per product. This example over here, the serving size is 150 grams. The yogurt next to this, or a dairy product next to this, might be a serving size of 120 grams. And straight away, it's confusing to choose the better product. The 100 gram column is your standard comparison per 100 grams. Now, we've talked about the total amount of food. We said that that is interpreted as energy or quantity, and energy is measured as calories or kilojoules. So always on a food label, the very top word that you're going to see is energy, and that energy is then going to be given a number that's either going to be a kilojoule or calorie. Just to confuse things a little bit, that energy is measured as calorie or kilojoule. And let me explain. It's just like distance is measured in centimeters or meters or kilometers. They're just different measurements for energy. Kilojoules are bigger numbers, 4 times bigger than a calorie, 4.2 to be precise. But if you just work on kilojoules being 4 times bigger than calories, you choose which measurement you want to work in. For the most part, calories are easier. So what we're going to do here is you've got 405 kilojoules per 100 grams. You just simply divide that by 4, and you'd have it in calories. You'll say, all right, so 100 grams of this product will give me 100 calories. Do we understand that? Kilojoules are larger numbers, 4 times bigger than calories. So calories, divide by 4, and you can work in calories across the board. Then we say, how much protein is in this product, how much fat is in it, and how much carbohydrates in it, because those are 3 macronutrients. So you've got, it's like energy is your total overriding score, and then the rest of it will show us in grams how many grams of each macronutrient is in the product. Hopefully, it's high protein. Remember, that's our number one focus. If the product is high in protein, wonderful. But we also are aware that some foods are purely protein foods. Meat, chicken, fish, eggs, largely non-packaged up foods. Tins of tuna, you get to see a high protein there. Ask yourself which protein foods are packaged up, and that's also why it's sometimes hard to get enough protein in the day, and we start to use protein bars and protein shakes. Perfectly good option to allow yourself to get protein in with every meal and snack and make life easier. Most packaged foods you're going to be seeing are more carbohydrate based or fat based, so we're going to make a comparison. Of course, you are going to be comparing on taste as well. You might use taste as a 4th T in a way, total, type, timing, and taste. I understand that taste still comes into it, and taste is important. For the majority of the time, we're trying to choose one that is lower in sugar, lower in fat. On the food label, you'll see carbohydrate, and you'll see the word sugar underneath carbohydrate. That's because sugar is a subtitle of carbohydrate. So the carbohydrates that we're trying to choose are the ones that are low in sugar. Okay? But some carbohydrates are naturally high in sugar. So again, we're trying to make a comparison between a few different products that are in the same food group and choose the one that's lower in sugar per 100 grams. The take-home point over here, and a nice point of generic measurement for lower sugar would be, is your product less than 10 grams of sugar per 100 grams? You're doing well. If you're finding muesli bars, chips, crackers, yogurts, anything dairy, these things are all going to have a component of carbohydrate in them. We're trying to choose the one that's lower in sugar. Less than 10 grams of sugar per 100 grams. How did we go over here? 12.4 close. 12.4 sugar, 12.4 carbohydrate. That means that the entire amount of carbohydrate in this product comes from sugar. Okay? It's not a large amount. Sometimes we can't get away from it, but that's just what it means in a label so that you can interpret this label and understand and make sense of it. Okay? The fat, sometimes they'll show how much of the fat is saturated and how much is unsaturated. Sometimes not, they'll just give a total amount of fat. Remember, fat is a macronutrient, that's why we got to look at it. We'd like the fat to be lower. So we go here, fat per 100 grams, 4.9. I like that. I recommend choosing products that are less than 5 grams of fat per 100 gram. If you simply just start doing this, when you go and do your grocery shopping, and start right now today by looking in your pantry, looking in your fridge, and start to check your products. Start to check. Are you more focused on the taste and not focused enough on the amount of calories coming from that product? What's the sugar like? Is it less than 10 grams per 100 grams? Is the fat less than 5 grams per 100 grams? So often there's a choice out there that tastes just as good. We just weren't aware of it. That's my job. I'm always on to new products. I'm on to new things because these things are changing and we're coming out with new brands, and it's getting more and more exciting and more accessible to find healthy food that still tastes good. And this is what makes following a meal plan and following a healthy eating structure and healthy eating habits more sustainable, because there's enough foods out there that are convenient, tasty, but still fit a good description of macronutrient profiling and quantity of calories. So, in the food label, look at the 100 gram column. Compare it with another product that's a likewise macronutrient, a likewise food group. Choose one that's lower in sugar, lower in fat, hopefully higher in protein. Then once we've made our choice and you've got that product at home, then you might look at the serving size as a guide for how much of this product I should be having. That's what the serving size is. That's a guide to say, okay, so if I have that serving, I'm going to get that many kilojoules. Remember, if you divide by 4, you get it as calories. That's your contribution to your daily calorie intake. More than that, I don't think we need to be looking at food labels. I think we're getting too precise then, and we're confusing the matter. Look at the big picture. Look at the macronutrients, protein, fat, carbohydrate. Look at the total energy intake. For interest's sake, sodium relates to salt. We would like to keep our sodium levels down, particularly for blood pressure or any genetic reasons where sodium should be down. That refers to salt. Interestingly, less than 130 milligrams of sodium per 100 gram is a low salt product. 130 milligrams or less sodium per 100 grams equals low salt. Good. Calcium, obviously good for bones, good for health. Falls into the micronutrients. These fall into vitamins and minerals. So not macronutrients, micronutrients, a whole other topic for overall health. Largely, if we're consuming enough vegetables and salad through the day, 4 or 5 cups of vegetable or salad through the day, we're getting enough micronutrients, vitamins and minerals to keep ourselves healthy, boost our immune system, appropriate brain function, energy levels. So that's sodium and calcium over there. And then lastly, in a food label, you got the ingredients. Ingredients are listed from most to least. So the first ingredient is the one that's in this product most, in its highest quantity, and the last ingredient means there's only a little bit of it in the product. Okay? And it's worthwhile looking at the ingredients. Sometimes it also gets a bit confusing because these ingredients go on and on and on. All right? I would say fix your attention more on the actual label, and then secondly, you can just kind of get the justification that yes, it makes sense that the sugar is fairly low or that the fat is low because that's one of the final ingredients in that ingredients list. Okay. If sugar was first in the ingredient, you would know that it would be a higher sugar profile in the label. So I hope that makes sense of how to read food labels. Start getting excited about it. Start putting a bit more effort and enthusiasm into choosing choices. When you do your grocery shop, big tip, you're doing one big grocery shop for the week. You're trying to get organized and set yourself up for the week. You're trying to not have to then do a bunch of little shops as you go, which probably don't happen, and then that's when you'll end up getting stuck and having fast food choices or takeout options. So you start to plan your week with a big grocery shop, spend a bit of extra time comparing products, okay, until it becomes more natural to you, but you got to spend a bit more time comparing products. All right. When I provide my meal plans, I also provide a shopping list. Go in there, take the hassle away from yourself, and just simply trust the process and follow the shopping list. And I'm giving you options for different meals so that you can best suit it to your day, whether your day is busy or you need more convenient options. All right. But get set up for the week, read your food labels, start to plan which days you're going to need to prepare in advance and which days you're going to be able to make food on the spot.